Previously on Racing Georgia.
I finished technically tied for first today, although realistically we all know that I finished second because Florian could have dropped me at any point. He was basically pacing me today.
The long stage was a success, and I've managed to secure my second place position for the week, heading into the final stage. It's now time for stage 6, as we run a final 10 kilometers straight down to the finish line in the bottom of the valley at the doorstep to Vardzia, the site of an ancient cave monastery and one of the most unforgettable attractions in the country. So it's day 6 and we're here at Camp 6, and today is just a rest stage. Some runners got in pretty late last night. I think the last runner came in just after 2:30 in the morning. So today's a chance for them to catch up on their sleep as well in advance of tomorrow, the final stage, where we'll be running the final 10 kilometers down into this river valley here to the finish line near the caves. And today will also be a chance for me to get some of the interviews that I need for this documentary, so I better get to work. This is when I finally had a chance to film the interviews you've seen throughout the series with Matthew, Magdalena, Florian, and Rob, who you might remember from my series Racing Namibia.
My name is Robert Ripley. I am medical director for the Racing the Planet Georgia Special Edition 2022 race. So last end of October, I was racing the Namib Desert race, which is also a multi-day ultra marathon, but I was doing it as a racer, and this week I'm doing it as a doctor. And this is the 7th race that I've done for Racing the Planet as a doctor, and the 5th race I've done as medical director. I enjoy the race atmosphere, getting to meet the athletes and follow the race and get involved in the drama and the excitement of the race. And it kind of builds over the week. This week has been just a potpourri of different weather patterns. We've had thunder and lightning, we've had pouring rain, we've had sunshine, we've had wind, we've had cold, we've had hot. Typically in the desert you have hot, you have a little cold in the morning, you might have fog in the morning if you're in Namibia, but rarely do you have thunder and lightning. So that's been stressful for us, stressful for the racers, trying to keep everybody warm, dry, and safe. I certainly got a lot more sleep as a runner than I have this week. The races happen in some of the most beautiful places in the world. This is the first of the races that I've done in a non-desert setting, and we've seen parts of it that most tourists don't get to. So the desert races, the multi-day races, are a series of races as opposed to just one race. But basically it's all about having a good day and then getting recovered so you can have a good day the next day. Anybody who can run a marathon can do one of these. I think that they need to think about it as basically 5 or 6 races, and then I think they need to come up with a training plan. You can certainly do one of these without training, but you're not going to enjoy it very much. You need to stress your body and stress your feet. I get blisters, I have bad feet, but my theory about feet is scar tissue is a good thing. Stress your feet before the race, not during the race. Watching you and Florian and Matt battle it out this week has made me a little anxious about my training level. So I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna start my basically a 3-month training pattern for Atacama, which is the last week in September. And it'll be my second multi-day stage ultramarathon. I've dialed in my nutrition and dialed in my pack weight. And I'm starting to get excited about it. Actually, I've been very excited about it, but now I'm really excited about it.
I filmed the interviews and all the B-roll at camp using my larger mirrorless camera and audio equipment. Fortunately, Racing the Planet had agreed to carry my heavier camera gear for me, including my drone, from camp to camp each day. That left me to carry just my GoPro and a few spare batteries while I raced, along with all of my mandatory gear and nutrition, of course.
Morning, Carlos.
The incredible drone footage that you've been seeing from during the race was all filmed by the photographer Carlos and a young videographer named Justin Murphy. His dad Michael provided the on-ground footage that you saw of me racing throughout the week. And like with my series from Namibia, there's just no way I could have brought this series to life without their help.
Playing with the toys.
Okay, so here we are near the cave city of Vardzia, which will be the finish line, quite magnificent finish line for Racing the Planet Georgia 2022. This year is a special edition. We've actually held the race now the second year in a row because we love the country so much and wanted to have more people be able to experience this beautiful country. We've had 42 racers start, and at the moment we have 38 people who are planning to take the final footsteps into the cave city of Vardzia. We've had some interesting weather, but everyone has dealt with it very well, being super positive and one foot in front of the other through 250 kilometers. And like I said, 38 people representing 23 different countries. So we are a little mini United Nations here.
Birthday dear to you. Happy birthday to you.
Don't tell anyone.
Speech.
The weather's been crazy all day today. It'll be sunny and then, half an hour later, all of a sudden thunder showers roll in and there's lightning and it starts pouring rain. And then a half an hour later, it's sunny again. So we'll have to see what we get in the morning. At this rate, it could go either way. Well, it's day 7, the last day. And we woke up to what I'm hoping is just maybe just fog. Something that hopefully will burn off in time for our start at 8 o'clock when we'll run a final 10 kilometers down to the finish line. The top 3 positions are now finalized for both the men and the women's field heading into the final stage, given how short it is. So this will be really more of a victory lap than anything else.
It's been an incredible journey, and I'm so glad to have been able to be part of it with each of you. So let's get ready for these final footsteps, 9.9 kilometers into the city of Vardzia, where you will be able to explore the monastery at the bottom. You're heading out here next to the church, off to the left, and then switchbacks all the way down.
Leaving Camp 6, we'll take our final steps down a series of switchbacks to the finish line in the valley below, a distance of just 10 kilometers with an overall net descent.
Oh, wow, look at that.
Easy jog downhill.
Yeah, not a bad way to finish off 250K, hey?
Oh, finally your shoe selection pays off.
That's right. You can see the caves over there.
a challenging week, but it's been so much fun, and I've loved being able to support everybody. It's been an amazing group of people. Like I always say, my top 3 requirements for a successful race, that everyone is safe, healthy, and happy, and I think we've accomplished that, so yeah.
It was a difficult experience, but it was worth it in the end.
This is a long way to go, and I've never done anything this long or this difficult, and to finish third is like, it's a gift. It's a gift.
This format for these races is the perfect blend of competing and cooperation.
In real life, you have a bad day, you have to get back up and do it again the next day.
Did we do some epic shit this week? Yes!
It's training for life, and it carries over. You know, you learn to kind of lick your wounds, take stock of things, recognize that you're not dead yet, and then get up and keep going. Because that's what life is like for everybody else, not just people that are fortunate enough to do stuff like this.
Many of the runners that I met in Georgia would go on to run with Racing the Planet in Lapland, the Atacama Desert, and even in Antarctica. Dr. Rob would come in 4th place at Atacama amongst a very competitive field, while Matthew would not only finish his 1 kidney 4 deserts challenge, but in Antarctica would come in 1st place. Florian would finish in 27th overall in the 100K World Championships and 1st in his age group, running the 100-kilometer course in just 6.5 hours. We're just hiking up the hill here on the way to the caves. So we're gonna get a tour here and find out a little bit more.
Nowadays only 3 monks live here. They have some rooms here, and every winter, during summer, they stay and live here in this cave, and I'll show later.
These caves have been inhabited since the Bronze Age, and between the 11th and 13th centuries were developed into a sophisticated network of monastic and defensive caves capable of sheltering up to 50,000 people during an enemy raid. It's crazy to think there were once 3,000 rooms here. This was all handmade, and this would have all been buried at one point. It was completely hidden and only accessible by tunnels. Some estimates say the cave complex may have had more than 6,000 rooms. But sadly, a large earthquake in 1283 shaved away half the cliff, which destroyed most of the complex, revealing its inner workings the way it is today. There still remains some 500 caves with 242 rooms, including 6 chapels and 25 wine cellars. Winemaking has deep roots in Georgia, where it's believed to have been a tradition for at least 8,000 years. In fact, Georgia is considered the birthplace of wine and is home to the oldest evidence of winemaking in the world.
These caves are made for tall people.
Later Ottoman invasions led to the caves and manuscripts they held being burned, leaving most of the chambers blackened from the fires.
I'm more worried about my camera than my head, but...
Well, I'm back in Tbilisi here. I just had a big breakfast buffet. It's Sunday morning. The race ended yesterday on Saturday morning. We had a 6-hour bus ride to get back here, and then a whole bunch of us went out for a huge dinner last night. This race was definitely one of the more challenging things I've done, both physically and mentally, but it was super rewarding. I worked really hard on my training this season. If you've been following along, you would have seen that I followed a very structured and deliberate training plan for this race. And I think everything came together really well. I think I was able to execute on that plan, and I never felt too hungry, but my pack weight I think was really well optimized. So I'm just really happy with how everything worked out, and of course I'm stoked to have made it on the podium, which was my goal.
My shoe choice in hindsight wasn't a great one. After talking to runners following the first year's race in Georgia, I had expected mostly dry and runnable terrain. But of course, we ended up with an unseasonably high amount of rain. My pack as well, you may have noticed, bounced quite a bit more than some of my competitors. And I'm realizing that this might be because it's just too small. Another runner had the 35-liter version of my pack in a larger size, and it seemed to fit him much better compared to mine, which was sitting too low on my back. So I'm going to try to get my hands on a more appropriate size for my torso. My supporting channel members can learn about all of my gear and a breakdown of my nutrition strategy, both what I ate during the run and for the meals before and after, in a separate video which I'll link to below.
I have one more day to explore the city here before I fly out early in the morning, so I'm going to go walk around with a few other runners, and I might go check out the sulfur baths to relax a little bit as well.
The name Tbilisi comes from Tbili, meaning warm, referring to the 30 hot springs that run below the city. It's said that its location was chosen specifically because of this. The Persian-style bathhouses rose to prominence as a result of the Silk Road, and by the 13th century, there were as many as 65 baths in the city. Today, there are fewer than a dozen, but they remain an important part of the city's rich culture and identity. I saw and experienced so much during my time in Georgia, but as usual, I'm left feeling like I just barely scratched the surface. So I'm definitely not ready to tick it off my bucket list just yet. And I hope that I've convinced you to add it to yours.